what is intimacy, wanting to understand it better. The body is such a driver of intimacy, maybe more of that's where I experience this sense of intimacy, because the body, my body, I think all our bodies don't really lie. Like everything that comes to be happens here, whether I like it or not. Like I can't manage everything about my body to be the way I want. I think we're in a time where greater intimacy is becoming possible as we become aware of our shame, because I think shame gets in the way of intimacy. Just all this awareness about trauma and the shame element that happens in that. And we're at a time where it's harder than ever to find intimacy because everything's virtual and everything's happening so fast. Intimacy takes time. Intimacy is about authenticity without trying. Like it has to be allowed. We can show up to it. I can show up to intimacy. None of us, I don't think, can force intimacy. It goes against its nature. I think there's also 3 levels that are important to me about intimacy. One is intimacy with myself. Like, can I be really authentic with myself? Another is with others. You know, there's like the magic and the mundane. So allowing for magical connection, it's so beautiful when magical connection is there. But I think a lot of intimacy is built in the mundane. It's how we deal with the times when we're just sort of like, just not at the top of our game, that are some of the most intimate, even though they're not always the most satisfying at the time. I think sex can be used to push on intimacy. Like I've noticed myself try to get to that intimacy I desire really with the divine through sex. And if I'm pushing for it, it doesn't work. And then there's the like backing off and, it's right here. Some of the deepest intimacy can happen through sex. It can happen through dance too. It can happen through looking at someone's eyes. It can happen through touching our own hearts. Relationship with the divine is the 3rd aspect of intimacy. So I've really been wondering at this, like, what is this intimacy with the divine? And then it's like, well, to be really authentic with all that is, like to allow life to come through me, not to be judging everything that happens, which often is aimed at me, right? But it can also be aimed at all that is. I'm so frustrated with the state of the world, or it shouldn't be this way or that way, like trying to get my way, when really it's like, well, what's being given? And what's coming through all that is. It's almost like our egos can't take it, this like letting go. Because I know my ego always wants to design everything, like, I can be in control of this and that, and good luck, it doesn't work. But I'm always trying anyway. And my body can't do that. It can't pretend. So that's why I love like ecstatic dance and the stuff we do in Brave Space and body work, contact improv, that the body is gonna be real no matter how hard the ego is trying to cut through that. So going through that mundanity, the mundane of, sometimes ecstatic dance is anything but ecstatic. It's like, I feel so awkward, and the awkward is the entrance into that intimacy, that reality. And so being willing to feel into that and play with it, even when it's like, what's going on? Then there is that magic of intimacy that starts to happen. That's when my defenses start to come down and I connect with someone for real.